All right, so thank you, Corey, for coming on the show for an interview. My name is Ty, and I guess we just get right into it.
Right
So
on.
first, I want to ask you, how'd you get started in real estate?
So yeah, man, great question. It's an honor and pleasure to be here too, by the way. Thank you so much for the
Yeah.
opportunity. Yeah, I got started in real estate at the end of 2016. I was a blackjack dealer for 17 years in the casino industry.
Oh,
Happened
cool.
to save up, yeah, happened to save up a little bit of money throughout that journey. It was pretty good money, man, 6 figures a year. But I got way too complacent and I was just kind of drifting through life, partying a lot, and but I was able to save some money up, and I used to love watching that fix or flop show with Tarek Al Musa.
Mm-hmm.
And we're watching that show with my girlfriend at the time, and she was a part-time blackjack dealer, part-time realtor. And she's like, "Why don't you flip a house so I can list it?" I'm like, "I don't know. Why don't I flip a house so I can list it? It seems easy enough. 30 minutes to make $80,000." But I was running around the neighborhood the next day on my morning run, and I saw one of those signs said, "Is one of those bandit signs says ARV 350." Buy price 250. I stopped on my run. I called that phone number, bought that house. Took me 6 months, and I made $8,000.
Oh,
That was
nice.
my first real estate deal back in 2016. So fast forward a little bit, did a second deal, bought it from a wholesaler out of RIA, made 20,000. Third deal, I thought I knew what I was doing, and I bought 4 houses all at once. And we ended up having to using a new contractor because the old one, something happened with our relationship. He was horrible anyways, but the new one was even worse. And he took us to the cleaners, man, and we lost $250,000. I lost all my life savings. I lost my 401k money, my previous flip money. It literally set me back to zero. I still had my job, which was good, and I was making good money at, but it completely set me back to ground one, man. I had no money left. And so I didn't want to give up real estate. And I was like, well, shit, I wonder how these wholesalers get their deals. And I literally Googled how do wholesalers get deals because I'm broke and I got to figure out how to go to direct to seller. And Sean Terry popped up. And I bought Sean Terry's course, joined his mastermind, paid him for mentorship, and that's how I got into wholesaling.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of similar stories with people in real estate, how they like lost it all or like went in debt after they got started. I bought a course from Dolmore Cross, and he had like a
Oh
similar
yeah,
story. Yeah, that he had just lost it all, but then he had to he started wholesaling to make it back. But sounds like a lot of the successful people like they had to learn from their mistakes and stuff like that.
absolutely, 120%, man. I mean, if I had a mentor at the time, or if I was part of a mastermind, that might not have happened to me. But I was just going through it, trying to wing it, and yeah, I got burned pretty bad, which sucked. But I learned a lot of hard lessons through that. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
I've grown from. So
All right. So what is your real estate business primary focus?
So right now, we're nationwide now. We play in 42 states. We're a novation company first, wholesale second. We do about 20 to 40 deals a month at any given time. I got a team here in the office. We have also an army of VAs that help us out in our transactions. And so we do novations. Most people don't know what novations is. And I'll kind of break it down real quick. It's basically instead of wholesaling, you're assigning the rights, the contract to the buyer, the end buyer, which is usually an investor, right? And they have to buy it deep because they're going to go in there and fix and flip it or use it as a rental. In novations, what you're doing is you're getting extra paperwork signed and you're getting the rights to list the property on the MLS and sell it to an end buyer with retail financing in place, so conventional FHA or a VA financed buyer. So you're selling it to an end user. And instead of assigning the contract, we're novating the contract. And that what that is you're trumping the AB contract with the BC contract. The BC contract trumps the AB contract, and we get paid by putting a lien on the property. And that's how the
Oh,
financing approves it, where mortgage companies won't approve an assignment, but they will approve a lien payoff. A mechanic's lien is a lien payoff. A mortgage is a lien payoff. So they will approve our payoff via the lien. And it's worked wonders, man. Going nationwide, one of your biggest problems is like, how do I get more buyers? You know, we use platforms like Investor Lift, which has been a game changer for us. But, you know, it's still difficult to find buyers in some of these rural areas. And
Oh, yeah.
so, but there's MLS activity. So we found that Novations worked out really well. So, and my average assignment nationwide is 17,000. My average novation nationwide is 28,000. And
Oh,
it's not uncommon to where we have like 50, 60, and $70,000. We have two novation deals right now, one in Oregon and one in, I think it's South Carolina, and they're both over 100,000 and they're on our board right now. So
I
it's
think
been a
I have
game changer.
yeah, a realtor friend in South Carolina. She was asking me if I had any properties in Colombia to assign, but I didn't at the
Oh,
moment.
we've done deals in Colombia. Yeah.
Do you have to be a realtor to do novations?
Nope, you don't have to be a realtor. I am licensed here in Arizona, but we do them nationwide. And so all we do literally is when we get a deal locked up and we have all the paperwork in order, because there's a lot of paperwork that goes along with it. You got to have your duck in a row. We just go to realtor.com, put the market that we're in, and if you put that market and find all the realtors who represented the sellers, you can find all the top realtors in that market, and we just cold call them. We cold call them until we get a listing agent, and then they list the property for us on our behalf because we're acting as seller now. So we list the property via the realtor, and they get paid their commissions through our fee.
All right. Your wholesale business, what does that look like, or how do you manage it on the day to day?
So it's about an 80-20. So about 80% are novations and maybe 20% are wholesale. Obviously, you still get some properties that come in that are pretty beat up because you can only novate properties that are livable properties because you're selling to an end buyer, right? You're selling to a retail buyer.
Yeah.
But ones that are really, yeah, the ones that are really trashed, or maybe it's a fire sale because the seller needs their money next week, we're still wholesaling those deals. So it's an 80-20 rule, you know what I mean? So, at the day-to-day, how we manage it is I got a disposition department. One person's in charge of that. She runs the whole disposition side of things. And then we have an acquisition department, and one person is in charge of that, and she runs the sales floor. And
Oh,
so there's two main departments in the company. And then, I get in when there's fires that need to be put out, or there's big problems, maybe a lawsuit or whatever have you. That's when I get involved. Otherwise, I'm pretty much almost fully exited the company. I'm almost all the way out. I still come in the office every day. But most of the time I'm working on stuff like this, on podcasts. I also have a mastermind that I run. So, I have 40 students in the mastermind, and we're teaching this whole novations, and we're teaching how to go nationwide with PPC as your main marketing strategy in the mastermind. And so
that's the paper call. I'm sorry.
pay per click. Yeah. So that's our main marketing channel that we do for nationwide is PPC. So, because it's easily scalable. Think about if you were trying to do cold calling, texting nationwide and try to scale that, you got to pull new data, skip trace that new data, get new callers, brain damage. Or in PPC, when I scale PPC, I do it at a click of a button. I just turn up the budget, add in more markets, and that's how I'm able to scale it. As long as you got everything built out and it's optimized, you can scale it fairly easily. So we teach students how to scale their PPC, how to go nationwide with wholesaling and novations.
All right. You spoke a little bit about your team, but can you give more details? Like, do you guys have lawyers, lawyers for your deals that you have on, I guess, retainer or something, or what are your students on your team? How does your team look like, or how does it work in your business?
So the teams is broken down. So I got my main dispositions. She has a junior dispositions that works under her, who's TC, but the TC works for the whole TC department, which is easy REI closings. Anyone want to hit me up, I can refer you over to them. They're a transactional company. They know how to do novations, wholesaling, sub two, creative financing. They're they're a robust company. And so they understand all the that come with these deals, and they're able to tackle those problems for us. So that's the disposition department. So Crystal's in charge of that. She runs all the deals. She's dealing with all the realtors, all the brokers, and accepting all the offers, negotiating them. And so that's the disposition side. On the acquisition side, it's a little bit different. We have she's the lead sales trainer. Under her, she has an army of VAs. These VAs are getting trained to be closers. So we're training our VAs to actually be closers on the phone with these homeowners. So that way that side's almost virtual, except for Sean. And then she's running daily meetings with these VAs, holding them accountable via KPIs, role playing, training, scripting. She makes them read books. I mean, she puts them through acquisition training, and she's holding them accountable every single day, keeping them sharpening their sales skills every single day. And then she just manages them. And then she also closes deals too, obviously. But it manages them. And then she just reports to me on her KPIs on the acquisition side. Crystal reports to me on her KPIs on the disposition side. And so that's how it's easily run, because I have department heads in each section. As far as attorneys, we have attorneys here local. When I have a problem that comes up, I keep an attorney on retainer. You got to keep them on retainer because, you got to act quick. We just got in a little bit of trouble out in Illinois on a novation deal we closed out there. We made $42,000 on it. And I'm here in the office. It was like a month later, and the phone rings, and it's the Illinois Department of Real Estate, and we were under investigation for fraud. I'm like, why are we under investigation for fraud? He's like, well, the company you used to list the property was under investigation for fraud. So we got under investigation because that company was under investigation. And it's like, okay, all right, so what do we got to do? Well, I'm going to be, I want you to submit all your paperwork, all your conversations with the seller, submit everything over to our office. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So obviously I gave it over to my attorney. My attorney took care of it, and he pretty much squashed it. So a good attorney is like, they're worth their weight in gold.
So I heard you spoke about, you have a lady running your business under you. Do you try to hire more women in your business? I'd heard something that someone is more likely to buy a house from a woman realtor than a man.
That's a fact. And not even the realtor side, but even on the acquisitions or disposition side, I feel like women just have the capability of being better salespeople, because they don't get so much the pushback or the aggressiveness like men do. Men, I mean, there's a lot of great men closers, but every time I have a woman closer, she performs better than a man closer.
I think they also have a quicker reaction time or something like that too. Yeah.
They do, man. They do. And a lot less people they're not, they're going to think twice before telling a woman to F off before they tell like me and you to F off.
Yeah. All right. So real estate is your primary business, but I see you like have a Wolf of Wall Street poster behind you. Like that movie actually got me into like stocks and investing and stuff. Like when it came out, I went and saw the movie, but do you invest like, or I mean, I guess you do invest, but would you say real estate or stocks in like crypto? Like what's your investment that you're really interested in right now?
So I keep my portfolio pretty spread out. So I'll give you some breakdowns that I'm involved in right now. So I'm part owner of Investor Lift. That's a SaaS company. I bought into that company when it first got launched. And so that's a multi-million dollar company. I invested in that very early on. So I love doing what's called LPs, limited partnerships. If I can get in on a company and buy in as an LP, that way I don't have any involvement, but partake in the growth is great. So another thing I'm doing, I invested as an LP in a couple companies out in Texas for drilling for oil and gas. So right now I've got 5 holes that we drilled out in Texas that are already cash flowing. So I invested $250,000 last year into these companies, and we're already cash flowing about $25K a month, and we're still drilling like 3 more holes. So hopefully we can get to about $30K a month. But I mean, there's no real estate that will pay you that kind of ROI on your investment. I mean, a house could cost you $250,000 a month, but you're only going to make like $1,000 a month in rent, maybe 1,500. But oil and gas, man, it's super lucrative, but it's super risky because they could go down and they could hit a dry hole. Your money's gone. So I invested in oil and gas. I'm also really huge into crypto. I do a lot of crypto trading, mainly holding. I feel like the only two type of people who get rich in crypto are the founders and the holders. Traders get wrecked. Yeah. But if you're one of those two, like look at Bitcoin, man. If you'd have gotten Bitcoin way back in 2012 and just held, you'd be a multi-billionaire, right? It's the same thing with any crypto project that has good utilization and good game theory for the future. Don't watch the charts every day. Hold it, buy it, hold it. DCAN, dollar cost average in, hold it. So I got a pretty robust crypto portfolio. right now that I'm deeply involved in. I don't play with stocks too much. That's not really my thing. Other than that, that's pretty much where I'm spread out. We are joining a mastermind here soon, where the mastermind allows people to come to the group and pitch new business ideas, almost like a Shark Tank. And so like you can have opportunities to buy in other LP, other limited partnerships. So I want to buy in as many LP opportunities as I possibly can, along with the real estate and crypto, to keep growing the portfolio. So one day, you know, when I want to stop working, I can just hang out on the beach with my daughter, you know, and just chill.
Yeah.
So I'm slowly building those portfolios up as I'm moving along, collecting the cash from the wholesaling business, the wholesaling, flipping, novations. That's bringing cash now, taking that cash now, and then throwing it out for cash later.
All right. So speaking about crypto, you talk about Bitcoin, but you know, there's like Ethereum and Dogecoin and SHIB. I'm actually like your thoughts on those, but also like, have you heard about like IOTA? It's an Internet of Things crypto.
I've heard of IOTA. Yep.
Yeah, and they run on the Tangle, which is like supposed to be more encrypted than the blockchain. You know, in the next like 30 years, quantum computers are supposed to be a thing, and that's how it's supposed to, like, the Internet of Things is supposed to work. And IOTA is like programmed to run on that. So like, you know, machine learning and like computers talking to each other and like smart houses and stuff is with real estate and smart houses and stuff like that. Are you, when you like is that something that you guys like think about for the future, like smart homes and like also like NFTs, like digital real estate? Like, what do you think, like crypto and real estate are going to have like
they will. They will coincide together. There will be a day where NFTs, you'll be when you go to buy a house, the title will transfer via NFT, because all the title work will be recorded on the blockchain. Your personal information, everything about you and your life and everything you do in your life will be recorded on the blockchain in the future. There will be a time where like, so like if you were to go buy a house, you're not going to need a title company no more. You're not going to need a realtor no more, because everything is recorded on the blockchain. It will instantly transfer via NFT. And there will be a time when that happens. When will that happen? I don't know. You know, maybe 10 years. We're still kind of a ways away from that kind of technology. But what the blockchain brings such a massive opportunity for our future generations. I feel like, you know, they always talk about there's that one great transfer of wealth, like every generation or every 100 years, you have a one big transfer of wealth that happens. I feel like in our generation, or maybe our kids' generation, that great transfer of wealth is going to happen via crypto and via the blockchain and everything that's revolved around the crypto. Because right now, only 1% of the people who are on the internet are involved in crypto. Imagine when this goes mainstream, and it will happen one day as more utility comes to the the industry.
Yeah, right now, with a lot of like crypto, with Bitcoin, it was supposed to be like a digital currency and stuff, but it's mostly used to like trade and
store of value.
Yeah,
it's digital gold is what it turned out to be, because it's the old dog, man. It's the first technology created. You know, they weren't able to do much with it, and all the stuff that comes after will be better, but it had to be done. And so right now it's just used as a store of value. And then you can see what as a store of value, what has it done? I mean, we hit an all-time high a few months back of 69,000. I think right now today it's trading at 41,000, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I'll give you a little more insight on what I'm focusing on in crypto. I've been focusing all my efforts now to Richard Hart's projects and his ecosystem. So I'm a Hexakin. I own a lot of Hex, and I'm also a big into Pulse Chain and Pulse X. I sacrificed a lot of money into the Pulse X sacrifice. The Pulse Chain is getting launched probably here in 2 months. It's going to be a whole new DEX where the trading fees are like literally a penny, and it's going to basically beat Ethereum at its own game. It's a much quicker uptime. There's like already 50 projects being built out for the Pulse Chain protocol, so it's gonna be a massive launch. And so I'm getting in on early everything that's Pulse Chain, buying everything early on Pulse Chain, because it's like get on the ground floor. Like I said, you want to get onto the ground floor in any project you get into and just hold it. You know what I mean? Let it do its thing. Let it do its work.
Crypto. I mean, what are you saying?
No, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Crypto's been around for a few years now, but there's still like it's still pretty early, like still on the ground
Super
for a
early,
lot of
bro.
stuff. Yeah,
Super early. And that's
super.
what's only 1% of people who are on the internet. Like that's like that blows my brain, dude. So I mean, like it's gonna be imagine your kids.
And yeah,
You
like
know what I mean?
you know, DAOs like they are like it's like
Yeah, I know what DAOs are.
protocol.
You put liquidity in there and it's traded against each other. Yeah.
Not that, not like the liquidity pools and stuff like. But it's a DAO. It's hold on, let me Google it because I just forgot what it was for a little bit. But I
Yeah,
feel like
Pulse Chain will
government.
be a DAO too.
Yeah, I feel like governments could be run on DAOs. Like you might not even need like
Oh,
officials
for
for
sure.
stuff.
You have voting
It's
power in there and everything.
decentralized autonomous organization.
Yep.
It's represented by rules and code as a computer program controlled by organization members. And so it basically it like runs like you can run a company or like there are some companies that are down. Like there's a crypto, I can't remember. I should have did some more research on that before I brought it up. I was just thinking about it because of crypto, but there's like the program runs the company or it runs the organization and it's based on like the members vote and like they vote on what protocols I guess go through and stuff like that. But that's how like Ethereum kind of is. But there's still people that like program it. But I feel like the
Yeah, it's
decentralized there's a lot of stuff that crypto can do. But all right, so
absolutely, man. We're
yeah,
barely scratching the surface right now.
yeah. So let's not dive too deep into it. Let's so real estate. What do you have planned for the future of your business in real estate?
So for this year, our goal is 5 million gross, with a minimum of 30% to the bottom ROI, to the company. In the future is just holding more assets, keep collecting assets, building slowly, just how I'm building all my portfolios. Right now we do a lot of wholesaling and novations, but out of those, we pick the ones we like. We might get into commercial this year. That's something that we've been flirting with for a while, getting into bigger asset type projects. But we haven't done it yet. There's a mastermind that I might be joining coming up that centers and they revolve around that. And that'd be just, stepping up my game into bigger asset, whether it be wholesaling those bigger assets, because you can do that. You can wholesale these big apartment buildings or big commercial offices. You can wholesale them just like you can single family, or holding them, raising, syndicating the money and taking the property down and holding them. So that's something that we're going to be flirting with moving into the future, especially
Yeah,
as we're building our single family company. You can only go so far with that, especially as far as holding those assets. I mean, if we want to play the big boy game, you got to buy big assets.
yeah. I've had some people on Facebook who I've connected with, and I've tried to get some $1 million like buildings assigned or something. Like the multifamily properties are 100+ unit. I don't know if you've heard of Legacy Holdings. They had emailed me. They're talking about they need B class 100+ unit properties. I sent them some deals, but I hadn't heard back from them.
Yeah.
But definitely out the multifamily wholesales, a lot of money there. But all right, so wholesaling. Yeah, what is your ideas on like your business structures? I feel like in 2021 or 2022 or after the pandemic with social media and all that, like you can do more with your business. Like as if you build your team, if you build a strong team, you could have like you can focus on different areas, like not just in like real estate, like doing more across. Like he sent emails to like people who sign up for his course, and I guess whoever's on his mailing list for stuff like he does car rentals and stuff like that. Like, would you ever expand or start car rentals? Because it's pretty simple to start. You could like take the cars out on loan, put them on Hype Car, I think, or Toro, or something listing services like that, and like it's really easy to scale. It's like, and then
Right.
he'll even like have members pay, and he'll manage the cars that he has for you, and I guess he'll just pay you like your percentage based off that. So like do you have like any other business ideas, like maybe scaling cars or like box truck shipping that you would like expand your business or invest in starting?
Yeah.
Because it's something that's kind of passive if you have a team.
Right. We're always looking for new business opportunities, just depending, but I always try to focus on one at a time. I
Yeah.
got to make sure I don't get the shiny object syndrome and chase too many rabbits at the same time. Because right now, Obviously, you got the real estate company going. We also do e-commerce. So I got e-commerce running. We have our own FBA branded Amazon store where we actually make the products in China. So it's not drop shipping. It's an actual branded store that we're doing the fulfilled by Amazon. Private label. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So we're doing that, and that's bringing in money, which is really good. And then, just going into all these LPs. And what I love about LPs is at an LP, you can just park capital and you don't have to be involved in the day to day.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. So, we're always looking for other business opportunities, but I make sure I focus on one at a time, optimize it. Obviously, I started coaching and mentorship. Early last year. And so a lot of my focus and time is building up that brand, that business right now, and getting really focused on that. I'm actually going to be probably mentoring with Cody Sperber here real soon, which he's kind of the king in that arena. So I'll be a lot of my focus will be going into that this year. And then, but we're always looking for better business opportunities and I'm always want to take something on as long as it's not going to involve too much of my time.
Yeah,
so it's hard.
So you're basically already pretty much doing, because like one of the things I was thinking about besides like the car was like e-commerce. So like you're already like building other businesses besides real estate. So I guess that was really just my question.
We are.
Like, do you feel like that's like the move for companies?
It is. In this just make sure if you do it that you're not doing too much at once, right? You don't want to have a shiny object syndrome. It's like that jack of all trades or a master of one. You want to be the master of one and then move on, and then be a master, then the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. Don't take it all on at once, because then you'll never be a master at it, and all of them are going to fail. And I'm guilty of that. I'm so guilty of that. I've taken too much on at once and be like, oh man, I lost money at this one, but I made money at this one. I lost money at this one. And it's just, as entrepreneurs, we want to do that. We get it. We're horrible at shiny object syndrome, because we see the next big thing and we see, oh, that guy made all this money. He made millions of dollars flipping NFTs. How can I flip NFTs? You know what I mean? It's like, and you go down the rabbit hole, and it's like, well, it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of studying that goes involved. They say to become a master of your craft, it takes about 10,000 hours on average to be a real master of the craft. I've got that invested in real estate, but I definitely don't have that invested in e-commerce yet. I don't have that invested quite yet in crypto, so it's like, take it on as you go. Just don't do it all at once.
Yeah, so like even if you're not starting, I think it's important to be knowledgeable about stuff. Like, I don't know if you know Slayer, but like Kerry King said something like they go back and I think it's Kerry King who said it, like they go back and they bring back what they learned from before. So like stuff they left behind. So it's the same, I guess, that it applies to like stuff you learn, and then you just bring, when you're at the stage or level that where you're able to do it, you feel like it won't be so time consuming or as much of a risk. Then you like, all right, I learned it before, let me refresh on it, and then
absolutely. Yeah. And you want multiple streams of income. You don't want all your eggs in one basket.
All right. Let's see. Do I have any other questions? Okay. So are there any people in business that you want to work with? I don't know, maybe a mastermind, like maybe Grant Cardone or somebody, like
Cody Sperber.
Can you tell me a little bit about him?
Cody Sperber is one of the OGs. He's in Phoenix. Him and Sean Terry, I consider them like the OGs of wholesaling. They started doing it back in the early 2000s. They're one of the first ones that started creating courses and masterminds and everything that revolved around the education space. They were like one of the first ones to revolutionize that early on. So Cody's just absolutely killed it in the influencer space. And his office is literally a mile down the road from mine. And we're good friends now, but I want to be able to start working more with him and closer to him. I'm going to join his mastermind this year. He's got a mastermind called the Avengers. And the Avengers, basically, it's just, a bunch of people in there sharing deals together, also other business opportunities. And so he's probably the next person close to me that I'm going to start working with here in the near future, just because he's on a whole nother level. And so I'm always looking for somebody who's on another level bigger than me. And I was just in an event last week at the Scale and Escape. And this one was such a powerful event because he had like it was Kent Calder's event. He had like 4 billionaires talk on the stage. And man, every single one of those guys' mindset and the way they attack life is different than even what a millionaire does. So I achieve very much so to be more in more rooms with billionaires. And if I have to buy my way in via masterminds, I'm more than happy to do so. So that's kind of the goal there.
All right, so our final question, again, with like social media being like a driving force behind a lot of businesses, would you say the CEO, I mean, the CEOs have always been like the faces of companies, but now especially, there's a lot of them, well, I guess, unless it's like a big tech company, but there's a lot that have a lot of like training courses and masterminds, and then they'll have a team running their business. Do you think that's how like businesses should be run? Like at least like real estate and stuff like that, where you just have a team focusing on like your day-to-day activities. And of course they confer to you about stuff that's important, but you're building the brand, the image, like having courses, getting more people involved in it. So there's more people like on the same mindset, or, you know.
Absolutely. Your goal always is to, first you're the hustler in the business. It's just you're hustling and bustling, making things happen. Then you start hiring people, and then you're still hustling, bustling, but you got a team you're hustling with. And then you want to get leaders appointed in place, whereas where we're at now. And then eventually you want to get a full CEO put in place. So you exit out of the company. Your strategy should always be to exit out. And that way that company becomes an asset that's just paying you, right? Month after month without your involvement, unless there's, a huge fire that happens that you have to get involved with, like a lawsuit or something, right? But you want to create those in as many of those businesses and multiple assets as you can. I mean, there's people out there who have like hundreds of businesses that they are automated and they're running on their own because they built it up, created it, put a CEO in place, and they exit. And so that's always the goal with any business structure that you're creating.
I guess one more. Are you still a CEO of your businesses, or have you?
I'm in the CEO seat right now, even though I don't have much involvement day to day. But this year we are training somebody into the CEO department. And so I'll be completely exited out of the company by the end of this year. And then I can focus more on stuff like on the mentorship, on the mastermind, maybe more into the e-commerce side of stuff. So we're in that transition now. It's gonna be hard for me, man, because I love being, I love the real estate stuff. So like a lot of times I'll go in the disposition room and I'll sit down. I'm like, hey guys, what you got going on? And they'll be like, nothing, we're good. I'm like, man, this is getting boring. You guys are too good.
Do you want to talk about your mastermind a bit more, or?
Yeah, it's the New Age Wholesaling Group. You can, if you want more information about it, you could DM me on Facebook at Corey Geary, or on Instagram, the Corey Geary. The mastermind is just what it does. It's a group. We have 40 people in the group now, and it teaches you how to do nationwide wholesaling and novation deal making with PPC as your main marketing strategy. And basically, it's me in the group. I get on weekly Zoom calls with the group, and we go over one topic and we touch on whatever that topic is, deep in that topic. You get access to all my paperwork. So in Novations, there's a lot of paperwork. You get access to all that, and we hold you by the hand on doing deals. And so it's a good group. You get access to me and my team. You can come to my office once a quarter and visit with us. It's pretty awesome to get in the group right now. You just got to set up a phone call with me to make sure you're, pretty much qualified to get in the group. And man, it's been a great success so far.
All right. Sounds interesting. I appreciate you coming on to the show and speaking with me.
For sure.
Hopefully maybe in the future I can have you back on here to discuss what you're doing at the time. But thank you for taking your time out today to speak with me today.
Okay, cool, man. Thanks, Ty.
Have a good time. All right. Have a good day.